I will introduce Gleb Lyubin. He is now, as of this year, in his third year of Bachelor of Software Engineering degree. His supervisors, academic supervisors on this project are Kit Messham-Muir and Ruch, and has been supported by the HIVE team, myself and Daniel Adams.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming to today's presentations. I'm Gleb, and today I would like to show you all what the HIVE team and I have been working on over the past 10 or so weeks, and that is the Art of Peace, Art After War virtual exhibition. Now what it is it's a virtual recreation of the real exhibition that took place at the Art Gallery of Western Australia. It featured 9 artists from 3 different countries, and these artists explored themes of trauma, memory, and resilience after conflicts in their countries through their artworks. Now, this exhibition and the project are part of a larger research project led by Curtin University, and the exhibition specifically is the result of field work conducted by academics in those countries. And these are the countries and the artists featured. So from Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have Mladen Mihanovic, Aida Shakovic, and Adela Jusic. From Rwanda, we have Teta Shell, Innocent Kurinsisa, and Cedric Mitsera. And from Timor-Leste, we have Bernardino Suarez, Ino Bere, and Maria Madeira. There were 5 main artwork types represented: paintings and print, 3-dimensional works, installations, where the arrangement of all the pieces was particularly important, pure video, and audio. This is the list of all the media that was used. A particular challenge for me in this project was being given all the available media. There were hundreds of photographs, and sifting through all of them and finding the most suitable ones was very time-consuming, as well as the fact that by the time I had started working, the exhibition had been over for a long time, for months, so I couldn't go back and retake any photos or videos if I needed, so I only worked with what I had. A major inspiration for this project was another project that was undertaken at the HIVE by the HIVE team. It is called Beacon Virtua. Now, Beacon Virtua is a virtual tour of the island where the ship Batavia shipwrecked, and it is available on numerous different platforms. And some of the features present in this tour are present in the Art of Peace virtual exhibition, such as information panels, an automatic guided tour, and 360-degree photographs, such as these ones. Now, before starting on the final version, I developed a prototype in a software called Matterport. And Matterport is very easy to use. All I did was I uploaded all the 360-degree photographs available to me, and Matterport automatically stitched them together to provide this experience that you could step through at the points where the photographs were taken, as denoted by the circles on the floor. Now, despite being easy to implement, it had very limited functionality. You couldn't move freely through the space. You couldn't import any models. It was all just photographs. And it had no 3D capabilities to be used on the cylinder display. But this prototype was useful in that it highlighted which features were useful and which weren't so necessary. Additionally, we laid out some high-level objectives the project had to meet. We wanted it to be a faithful recreation of the space. It needed to convey the artist's intentions, be information dense, usable by a large group of people simultaneously. Now, from the outset, one of my supervisors, Professor Kit, wanted to use this as a learning tool for his students, for them to see what the exhibition was like, and to cater to all the students simultaneously needed to be used by a group of people. And we wanted it to be intuitive to navigate. Now, for the development environment, we chose a software called Unity. Now, Unity is primarily used to make games, but it can also be used to create experiences such as this one. It is highly sophisticated, and the HIVE team is very familiar with it, so it was an obvious choice. And this is like a behind-the-scenes look at my development environment. I needed a way to represent all these 3D artworks. I couldn't just import images of them. I needed to actually make the 3D models somehow. I needed to arrange all the artworks correctly, and as I mentioned earlier, this is particularly important for installations. I needed to implement logic. This is to make the experience more interactable, and is something that Matterport lacked. And this is an image of C#. It's the language that Unity uses for programming. And I need to leave some time for finishing touches to make it more presentable. Now, for rendering those 3D artworks, it was first proposed to use a technique called Gaussian splatting. And it's a very new volume rendering technique. It renders a bunch of these oval-shaped splats that create pretty realistic scenes. This image is taken straight from the research paper, and it is not a photograph, it is a Gaussian splat, despite looking so realistic. Very interesting. Unfortunately, this could not be used because the version of Unity we were confined to was too old to support any Gaussian splatting rendering techniques. So we settled for an alternative in point clouds. And all a point cloud is it's a collection of points in space that represent a 3D object. If you look at the first image there, it's literally just a bunch of points that make up the caskets. And if you look closely, you will notice gaps between them. Now, this highlighted the first issue we ran into with point clouds, and it is that if you got physically too close to them, they disappeared. That was because they were the scans that we took, or that the people who gave me the footage took, were not dense enough. So to partially resolve this issue, I used a software called Open3D, and it automatically estimated and filled the gaps between these points. Unfortunately, this came at a cost of visual quality, so it was not a fully fleshed out solution. And this is the final version of caskets, the point clouds that were used in the project. These are two more works, Well Known by Maria Madeira and Protection by Cedric Mitterrand. Now, to partially compensate for this loss in visual quality, we decided to use VR 180 3D photographs. And these photographs help achieve this 3D effect when you put on the 3D glasses where the image kind of pops out of the screen. Overall, it was good. We had slight vertical misalignments, which made it a little bit unpleasant to view that we couldn't resolve, but overall still pleasant enough to view to be used in the final version. This is part of the additional media system I've implemented. You can view the photographs, and I've also included video scans that show the objects from all angles. I have implemented information panels that tell viewers more about the artworks and the artists represented. So if you get close to an artwork, for example, you get an option to interact with it, and if you do an information panel, it pops up, and then you can collapse it. I have implemented 360-degree photographs to really let the users know what the space looked like in real life. There's at least one in each room, and this specific room has, I think, 4, and I'm just showing 2 of them here. That's the first one, and this is the second one. I've also implemented an automatic tour that goes from one checkpoint to another. Some checkpoints have audio recordings, so you listen to those, wait for it to finish, and then the tour automatically takes you to the next checkpoint. And as you will shortly see here, it will take the player from this artwork to the caskets. I have also implemented video interviews. If you step inside that box on the ground, you can unpause the interview, watch it, and if you step back, the video collapses. I also needed to accurately recreate the lighting as it was in the real exhibition. So that room to the left is the void room, and it was very brightly lit. That room had contained Aida's installation, and the lighting reflected what was on screen at the time. So at this particular moment, it was like a bluish tint. This is Adela's installation, and that one particularly had to be dark. I have also implemented media manipulation capabilities, so you can, as you can see on this video recording, I'm rewinding 10 seconds forward a couple times, and then I'm restarting the interview from the very beginning. And these manipulations also work for audio. This is Adela's installation. While you're behind that line, all the videos are playing at the same time. And if you step away, step behind that line, the videos pause. Now, just some insights for anybody thinking of doing something similar that I found to be particularly useful. Make sure you think of your technology first and then capture the media afterwards. It was the other way around for this project, which made development somewhat more difficult because I had to adapt to what I already had in terms of the media. Capture as much videos, photos, and audio as you can. This is to prevent you from going back and forth between developing and the exhibition. And sometimes the exhibition wasn't even available, as it was for me. Focus on user-friendliness. At the end of the day, you're developing this for people who are not familiar with your project and you want them to be able to use it. Preferably work while the exhibition is still running. If you happen to find that you do not have some photos that you need, you can always just go back and capture them again. This was not an option for this project, unfortunately. Focus on the artist's intentions. If you're developing anything art-related, you're representing their work, and it is your responsibility to do the due diligence to represent their artworks fairly. And from the start, focus on high-quality code. This is important because this will save you lots of headaches in the future once you start adding more features, and you inevitably will. So the two main outcomes of this project are the Matterport and Unity versions, with the Unity version being the more complete experience. Unfortunately, 3D Gaussian splats failed to render, and it is an opportunity for future research. Some artworks are incomplete. We've requested the artworks from the artists, and 2 of them failed to send through their videos, so those works are incomplete. This project differentiates itself from other related projects by supporting stereoscopic 3D technology, and all the objectives that we set at the start, we met. Ultimately, this project was a success and lays solid foundation for future research into virtual exhibitions and tours. This marks the end of my presentation. I hope you all learned something interesting, and if you have any questions, now is a good time to ask them.